Hello, beautiful souls. I think you're going to have to put up with me being a little crooked. None of us are perfectly straight. But anyways, that could be taken many ways. Anyways, might as well start with a joke. Breaks the ice. I am, again, after hermiting, switching up a lot of the energies on my channel. So getting in my heart space again, getting my heart chakra back online, imploding again, manifesting again, working again, just, the energies and the opportunities in life blossoming in spite of the continual attacks that I'm still getting from completely ignorant people. And, I guess I could, like Christ-wise say, they don't know what they're doing. And I'm not going to forgive them, because to me, and the word etymology, forgive, means to give afore, meaning I gave you my energy, my love, my chance, my hopes, my dreams before, and you screwed them all up. And I've learned 2 strikes, you're out. Why 2? Because unless I really want to make a bond with somebody, and a bond is a contract, physically, mentally, spiritually. I just want to be in my heart space. Like, that is my love. That is my goal. That is it's everything. When you're in your heart space, when this Merkava is a shield around you, and you literally feel like there's this person walking out and stepping before you that is mighty and powerful and strong, and you feel it in your aura, and you feel it go out of your aura and stand before you, that's your army. Like, there's nothing more in the world I want than that. And I don't want the people or things from my past. And I think what I wanted to do was, having had this experience of holiness and the heart opening and the crown implosion and all these things, to go back and share it with people in hopes that they would not be living out of their animus as animals, and there would be some type of change around them before, they were judged by what's coming down in their own life because of what they did. Now, I've had people come and ask me for forgiveness. No, I forgave when I met you. I trusted you when I met you. While I was with you, I forgave you 1,000,000 times. And you've never forgiven me. Why? Because if you have, you wouldn't be doing negative, horrible things to me. I don't want to hear that this is just who I am. Then you're telling me that that's just who I am. And I don't want to hear that. I don't want any part of that. So I realized through when I was terribly bored and I was so in my heart chakra, and then I got a scare working with the land, which I asked to work with the land because I'm like, I have to do something while I'm here. I'm bored to death. I feel that I have no purpose, and what can I do? And then the earth started showing me things and healing me massively and communicating with me. But it became a distraction. Now, at first, it was wonderful. I was learning. I was enjoying myself. And I realized, too, that Spirit's teaching a lot of other people this stuff now that I'm seeing. And so I may work with it differently than they do. They're discovering it, and they think, they're the only ones discovering, and the government's hid this, and contractors in your state will hide it, because then if, all these standing stone monuments and burial grounds show up on property, they can't excavate, they can't build there, and they don't have respect, and they don't have any kind of spirituality or really any fear or regrets for the 4th dimension and disturbing that, and don't see it as a sign of dark necromancy and defilement of human beings, then yeah, I don't know, maybe, there's other people that understand laws and rules that need to be doing those things. And I work with the energy, the ley lines, the magnetic ley lines, the dragons of the earth, the dragons of the air. I don't see them as anything different than elementals, and people who compartmentalize those things do. Like, why would you not want to be the full expression of all your elements? Well, you're deceived. That's the only thing I can think of. It's like, why would you downgrade yourself? Is that somehow cool? And why is it cool? Just because it's cool to a group of people that are ignoramuses? Well, you know what? Dogs think it's cool to, do their doggy things and eat their own vomit and stuff like that. People who are dark and are addled, meaning they have a poor quality of metal in them. You can look up that word. They're not gold. The gold's fake. It ain't real. They're addled. They're very messed up. I was very messed up. Living in someone else's darkness, trying to survive and writing very dark poetry because I was channeling from my lower chakra and in touch with these 4D creatures that are not only in all of us, but in my family line. And we all have a family line because we all have ancestors here. We all have dead people here in this earth. So nobody is separate from that. I'm not special. It's just I'm dealing with it through the embodiment of my energy and my projection. I'm a projection, or I wouldn't be here and you wouldn't be seeing me. We come down into these chakra systems and energy and pull all these things together as a human soul so that we can be here projecting. And so, as many other women that I know a little, readers, body workers, they have all kind of been ruminating in this sort of very liberating darkness, or the darkness is overtaking them because they really don't understand what it is. And it's really a time when we're seeing who is going to come out of that as a strong, stable person with both yin and yang online throughout their chakra together in the center, or we're going to find out who decides to be thieving life force takers and dark illuminates or whatever. And I'm seeing that, in my own life. The projections of my past self, all my relationships are dark and within the darkness, and I'm leaving them there. And I don't care who I have to leave behind. Where before, like last year, I could tell you I still had attachments, and then that person was out of my life, and I was like, okay, now I can let them go and grieve, and it was a family member I was very close to, and then back they came into my life, but they came back in so angry and so hurt and so damaged and so in denial about how they were acting and how abusive they were. And I sat with that person in that because they had helped me through something. But then I realized that my life force was drained. Why? Because I still had attachments here. And so I knew that, and I knew that I would have to work through those attachments and through the yin yang and the energy behind the reason, behind why I thought I needed those people. That lie in the projection that, oh, I can't lose them and I love them so much and I'll have nobody in my life. And what do? I'll be totally bored. Well, what do you do when you're totally bored? You go entertain yourself or you go within. And I did not quite sit long enough within the loneliness, and I didn't cast off things that were bringing me down. And so I had to take that downward spiral with that person because I wasn't letting them go, and because I was letting them use a lot of my energy, and I was trying to help them heal, which I was totally against for anybody but my children. And so, yeah. And now I have had to learn, no, I be me, for everybody. It's not that one or this one needs me. It's if they need a projection of me that they believe in, that I am, instead of love me for who and where I'm at and the amount of energy I have and who I am and what I have to offer, and they're going to tear me down and be wicked and cruel to me and then deny it to my face, that's all past tense 4D BS. I don't want to deal with. And I know when someone's channeling demonic entities or 4D entities, and the person that was coming from, and I thought they were my friend and my healer, and no, turns out they turn back into the lust of their flesh, and they're going to get what they want because they're used to manifesting, and everything was love, light, and no, you can, and you got to be love and Sheila. And now it's the complete opposite. Now these people are all in their shadow. Oh, Sheila, you got to be balanced. You got to be, it's always you got to be balanced when you back into your unbalance. And I needed that, and I needed to see that in myself. And so right now, collectively, astrology and these lunar solar eclipses that are coming up back to back, a lot of things are going to be put in the past or let go of, or you're going to have to go through another spiral of learning within the group and the attachments and the people that you have. My goal is to love, to be there for who I want to be there, but to have no attachments, meaning that if you died or something, of course I would be sad if I loved you, but I wouldn't be devastated as I have been in the past with deaths and with losing my family and losing my friends and losing everything in life, everything, even physical things. Like I've said before, I didn't even own a fork and a spoon, and I came from having 3 houses where I had all my own stuff. And I had to lose it every time, everything to a relationship. So, yeah, I've been without anything. And in those states, I was so crippled, depressed, and believed that the projections of the external were the truth of who I was and what was wrong with me and my soul. And until my soul space came online and loved me back as ferociously as I love, I had never felt love the way I had loved others. And that love, yes, was a projection, and yes, was needs, and yes, was not the fullness of my Godhead, because I hadn't found that yet. And it was more sacrificial and more, give and take, because everything in this earth is give and take until one becomes self-sufficient completely as the Godhead. Talking about this when I talk about God, I'm talking about this chakra. And God's got such a bad rap anyways. What do you call it? People call their demons dragons. Some people call their soul dragons. Some people call the soul unawake dragons. To me, like when you got everything online, you were a dragon. Maybe some people say a sky dragon, an air dragon, or a storm god. And all those archetypes are so mixed up in the plethora of stories that people have projected on them that really you've got to find everything yourself. And the meaning of everything within yourself as relates to yourself and how it comes and serves you. I don't serve anything. I wait for energy to come to me and teachers to come to me and masters and alchemists and all these things to come to me. And then I realize I don't need any of it. And that's the point, is you've got to get to a place where you don't need anything, and you don't even need a purpose, like me going out and saying, like, what do I do to myself now? I've actualized now. Like, what do I do? I don't know what to do with myself, with this energy, with this love. Can I share it? Will the people from my past let me share it? And 1333, no, they did not. They couldn't get it. They couldn't comprehend it. And that shouldn't surprise me, because it's pretty much been me my whole life with my gifted psychic and channeling abilities. And I've shared how I was hunted for those things in the 4th dimensional realm, and how stupid and negligent and that was, and how ridiculous it was. But it was a stage I needed to learn as my projection of what I came here to be. And it's like when you come here, you sign a contract with your own soul to be and fulfill whatever it is here, the role that you're fulfilling. And I'm not going to say picking. I think in this realm, there's a lot of things astrologically, demonically, gods, goddess wise, that are controlled. And when it gets to a point where so much energy is played with and controlled, like my highest potential would, for me and more than one of my children, would have been to be born in Siberia, in northern Siberia, at the foot of the Ober Mountains. that would have been the highest potential of my incarnation in this lifetime, to learn what I needed to learn in the best ability. Well, obviously, with my monadic group, I didn't incarnate here. And I believe that's because a lot of the energies have been played with and fucked up. Because, like, if I were a black magician that was, or an alchemist that was controlling story outcomes, I would make grids and numeral, like astrology grids, and I would make and call in spirits and human beings that are looking to come in through this place. I would call them into my grid work, and I would trap them in a certain sigil. I haven't done this, but I know how to do it. Past lives in this life. Where you would literally call in a soul, but you've actually kind of, when that information was coming in from the outer realm, the spirit was coming into the body, you tampered with it as such so that you could make it feed your storyline. And so my belief system is that many of us have done this, and many of us has had this done with us, so that we won't reach our highest potential, and it within natural order, which for thousands and thousands of years have not been played out naturally, because people, alchemists, believe that it's their highest calling to mess with all this stuff. And I totally disagree. And that's like the story of the angels, the fallen angels, and the watchers of this earth. And they taught people all this magic and wisdom, like the story of the Jains, and they were not supposed to. Why? Because they came here and experimented with people, and experimented with soul and spirit's highest energetic forms, thinking they were masters or had to become masters, or this is very important for alchemists, listen, had to take over the gods of this age and this earth in order for them to be the highest, best, good of all alchemist god chakra here. So those people in their lack are trying to prove they're gods. If you have to prove you're a god, you're not a god. You're not. And this is their religion, and that's why I'm no longer into alchemy or calling myself any of these alchemies or isms or anything, is because I'm just finding that, a lower level alchemist would be like the type that dissects human beings and makes duck pigs and human dogs and all kinds of weird stuff with genetics. And that's what the Jains and different people that came here did. They just got more and more greedy with knowledge. And whatever storyline you want to hook onto, the vibration period is that things in an organic, natural state should be allowed to go the way they're going. But alchemists, disembodied, disincarnated soul, fallen angels, whatever you want to call it, spirits that left other realms, other dimensions, they want to come here and they want to play and they want to experiment and they want to play God and be a little God child of like, oh, well, I made the people go down the road in a car, and then I made a flood come, and ooh, look it, I made a flood. Childish stuff. Demonic, low-level, disgusting, messed up things I'm seeing these alchemists do. There is highest potential in good alchemy, but they ain't here to learn that because it doesn't prove their power. Actually, it ultimately proves beyond a shadow of a doubt, but people don't want to do that. They want to be low level. And actually the highest and lowest level to be all in one is to know your highest potential, to know your possibility, to be able to do these very dark, crazy, demonic spells, and to say, hey, I fell here once for this trick. I'm not doing this again. And in that case, I've spoken about before how when you're in these lower dimensional grids and someone's grid worked you into this place, and you got trapped within this grid almost like a genie or a jinn because you're a spirit, then you play out a karma here until you realize what the storyline is and that you don't have to follow it anymore. And you start making your own grand alchemy and being your own grand alchemist and being your own god, which is none of the things I was taught, none of the things I learned to alchemy. Would I like to be able to make a specific extract of Melissa a plant so that I could age backward? Yes. But I found that best way to age backward is to be true to the heart space and to sit in this no storyline, no mind, no body, just your soul. And this soul will just glow up and it just feeds you. It literally feeds you. I go from having a wrinkly neck and a double chin, and a few days later, because I've sat in my soul space, I look 5 years younger. And that's while being sick and while going through stuff. Why is this? Because I know how to deal with my body through my spirit and my emotions, which are more important than physical, tangible things, because we are first not physical nor tangible. We are spirits. And I think I got to a place in alchemy and in spirituality when I realized I don't want to do any of these things. I can do them, but I don't want to play any of these games. And if I don't want to play them, then someone else comes along and says, you're going to do this for me because there's a gangsta game going on here and you're going to be my bitch and I'm going to use you like a slave. Well, no, you're not. Because if you do that, I'm going to recover and you're going to be my slave. And if that means you no longer exist in my reality, then you don't. And you have to get to this place where you're so not hardened but resolved that nothing here is an attachment. Nothing. Nothing. Not the storylines of the earth, not the possibilities of how far you can go in alchemy or as an alchemist or a spirit or a Holy Ghost or whatever. No, it's to stay in the peace within your heart and to transcend. That's it, you know. Heaven comes down, this chakra up here, and that makes glory fill your soul. And that fills your whole aura and your whole chi, and you become aura, A-U, gold. And you don't have to hurt anybody. And yeah, it's great if you have gold and you can make alchemical gold, or you are alchemical gold, or you can do all these external witchcrafty things to become like an alchemist. But you're going to realize the higher you get, the less of those things you want to do, because this earth already has a monkey wrench story here, and it's just a learning place. You come here to learn, and you cannot be attached, because once you get attached to making homunculi and to making projections of, say, a lawyer in New York City who's going to somehow bring in money or something by using a sigil with a graph and a birth date and astrology, which all those are things you can do. You can literally create a split alternate life form, but that's yours. It's living off of your energy and it's supplying you energy. And then if it goes awry and astray, a normal person would feel culpable for that, because it's your responsibility to take care of what you create here and not abandon it like a bad parent. So yeah, it's just, again, sitting in my heart space, giving up on the humans and the love of the flesh and the things here, and not being of this world, being of this world, learning from this world, not learning from this world. I just get to these places where I'm just like, hey, happiness is just, I'm in my heart chakra doing my thing. And the more I can do that thing on my own, being provided from the things that I know, the better. And the way that I can do that cannot be in ways that utilize alchemical pathways I can't agree with anymore. Isms and anities, alchemy is a religion. I didn't know that. I thought it was, a practice. But then again, witchcraft was a practice. Druidism was a practice. Shamanism was a practice. No, it's not. It's all become religion and tainted with gross energies. And I don't want to need any of them. And I don't want to make any more. All I wanted to do was create. You could ask me, how would you, because of my family lines, the knowledge within my genetics and my energy, what I came here with from past lives, How would you create a perfect child? How would you create a holy child, or a child that's considered an alchemical work of art with two couples organically? And I could tell you. And I thought I was meeting somebody like that who wanted to make a goodly family. I don't like to say godly, God family, goodly family, and a family of elemental beings that knew their highest forms. And no, it's just not necessary for this time. What's been has been, and it's been, and it's been, and it's been. And if you know it's been and you know how to do it and you don't want to do it, no more. I cannot relate to having to do anymore. That's religion, having to prove anymore. I just want to find my center, and when it's time to go up through my pole, to ascend up through my pole, to the pole, to my ancestors that have ascended, to the energies of whatever I'm supposed to ascend to, and that's trust. That's bowing to the soul, not having to say, I'm this, that, and the other storyline. An Luciferian grid work in a Neptunian sun age. That's all illusion and delusion. So I'm just kind of back more into talking about my alchemy and my grid work. And I think going into your darkness is necessary at times for you to find your spiritual gangster. And I used to be one of those, but I don't want to be one of those no more. That's the grid work, masters. And it's dark, and I don't want anything to do with that anymore. What do you need to know? That you can make a homunculus, that you can be a homunculus, that your wife can be your homunculus, that your partner can be your homunculus, that you can create a duck-billed platypus, and then people be like, oh, we just found this now. There's duck-billed platypuses. There always was. Maybe someone created that. Alchemists can do that. Genetic stuff has been done over and over and over again, and you think that's something new. It is not new. There is nothing new under this sun age. It has been done before. An alchemist can take his sperm, put it in manure and soil and the right life force in a beaker, and they can create a spirit. Because the chi of the male sperm is what activates the female ovum, just like a rooster and an egg. Now, both of those sexes can create, men alchemically and women naturally within the natural order of their bodies. But I don't want to do that, even if I know how to do it perfectly. Because you know why? People want to use your knowledge and wisdom for power, for things, for stuff here, for glory, I've got to ascend to this alchemy and that level and this thing and my demons, and I want to fly and I want to be a mermaid, and you can be whatever the frick you want. And when you're tired of being that and it don't work out and it ain't what you wanted after you've got it, well then where are you? Where are you? And that's what I had to learn. So I will be going back. This eclipse, double eclipses are all about getting into your light and dark. And first you're going to have to dive into your deep, dark, beautiful, feminine aspects and pull them up from wherever you've let them sit because you haven't acknowledged them or know that they exist yet. And that's what this is about. It's about stepping into your power and about stepping into your glory, which is the masculine, also power, your emperor. And to find your own true balance outside of what, anyone else thinks, where you are at your time. My stomach's disturbed. So, yeah, I am who I am, and if I don't make sense to anybody on this earth and their goals and their path and their way and their alchemy and their Satanism and their blah, 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 blah pendulums, we all got a hive mind. You do that. That is only one aspect of all the elementals here. And each elemental makes an aspect of oneself, and metal is only one of them. The chakra all together lead back to the singularity, which is the oneness. It leads back to the solar singular aspect in this time period, the sun. And then also that you find the oneness is beyond that. And the oneness beyond that ain't the sun. It's one's pole, one's center. And where is the pole? Polaris star. You know, I talk about the bear pulling the wagon across the sky. Both of those symbologies, the bear and the wagon, or some people call it the dragon, is the northern star. People are like, no, it's the Dogons and Syrian and blah, blah, blah. Everything is one. And your oneness is found in the concepts and the understandings and the things that your highest potential can be part of or hive to, or whatever it is you're going to do. So whether you worship a star system or the pole system or the central sun here, or you think the black sun, your soul is evil, and so therefore you got to be a pagan New World Order Hitler, neo-Nazi, you know, like, there's just a million ideas out there. And the more New Age spirituality explodes into all these lies of 144,000 things outside of you instead of your own chakra, the more confusing it's going to get. And when we're all here, tons of alchemists, creating our own little worlds, not knowing what the heck we're doing or the highest potential or what was this all made for, it's going to come to a place of total chaos in order to break that down and find what's the strongest elements to move on with or to stay here and create until the earth no longer exists. I mean, it's re-terraformed. People said it's this stuff been here 300 million years or more. So it's storylines on repeat. Everything's energy and everything's a projection of energy. And I understand alchemy and I don't want anything to do with it anymore, because generally the majority of alchemists live out of their 3 lower chakras in order to create here, like I've spoken about manifesting with your 3 lower chakra, and I don't want anything to do with that anymore. I want people who live out of their center, and you can tell because that love just energy, you feel it just opens up and explodes around you. And it's not that shaky, coily feeling of people who live in their lower, because your lower chakra will literally feel like a rolling baskets of snakes around them, which is how I know when my friends and different people that I've worked with are in wrong energy, because they're a snake, and all the snakes in that lower dimension roll around and coil in my belly whenever they're around me. It's just projected energy. It's their energy. So yeah, being alone sometimes really sucks and it's super hard, but this is just a storyline here. And at the end of the day, I'm going to get in my heart space and I'm going to say, I am not this body, I am not this mind, and I certainly am not this crazy storyline. Nor do I want to create within it. I want to send and spend my energy on creating with myself. And if that leads to sharing with other people or growing a channel or whatever, it does. But I would rather keep a vlog and just share as I go. Like I said, my calling with my dragon head is to be a leader, and I still don't see how to lead except for to just be me. And I guess if the rest is supposed to happen, it will happen naturally. I don't have to beg anything or make anything or create anything or do. If you're not doing, then someone's going to take your shit. If you don't want to do, then Sheila, I will press you down to the ground, put your nose in the dirt and make you do for me, because I'm the Illuminati and 3333, and I'm going to make you use your power the way I say, because you're not using it. I'm tired of the storylines, tired of the childish storylines here, very tired of the childish storylines. There's no need. And I'm just going to go within, and that's what my channel is going to be about. Whether, I don't know how often I share videos. I share when I share, and then I change it, and I take some down, and I put some up, and that's growth. That's being able to be in your left and your right, and feeling out how it feels to live within the heart chakra, and be quiet and content and peaceful, but then to be able to know how to move in and out of the lower and higher energies you're working with. It just takes learning, like anything in this whole world. So thank you for your time.